Some people are joining now. Okay, slowly we'll take the start. Uh, Yesterday we did a part of interstitial lung disease. So this is actually a continuation of yesterday's class. So we did solve around 10 MCQs, and now we'll start solving under 10 MCQs. Okay.
Yes, sir.
To brief you, so the regarding interstitial lung disease, they are a restrictive type of diseases. So other group is obstructive type. Other group is obstructive type. And do you know what is restrictive? Restrictive means the, hold on, somebody is joining. So, so the restrictive means here, so the lung diseases. I'll just make a. I'll just spend around 1 minute, so that, so the lung diseases can be classified as obstructive and restrictive. Okay, okay. In obstructive, you see your asthma, COPD, emphysema, and all that. Okay. In restrictive, you see your IPF, interstitial lung fibrosis, hypersensitive pneumonitis, or allergy, extend, all those things here come here. So your sarcoidosis, even for that matter, pneumonia has also come here only. Tuberculosis, all these diseases where the disease is limited, predominantly involving the parenchyma other than the airways. Okay, those diseases they fall in restrictive lung. Okay, and the basic difference between them is in restrictive lung diseases, the airflow is not at a problem, but the diffusion of gases across the lungs is at a problem in restrictive lung diseases. Whereas in obstructive lung diseases, the problem is with the airflow. So only this ratio, the important ratio, that is FeV1 by FVC, is reduced in obstructive lung diseases, whereas in restrictive it is not reduced. And in one more thing is in obstructive lung diseases there is air trapping. So this leads to increased residual volume. So total lung capacity is also increased. But this is due to increase in residual volume. This is because of increased residual volume. The vital capacity doesn't increase. The functional part of the TLC is actually vital capacity. This is just a stagnant air. This part get increased in obstructive lung diseases. But in case of restrictive lung diseases, residual volume doesn't increase. So TLC is not increased. Okay, that is something in brief about them. And if you go through that previous classes, you'll be able to get that. Okay, we'll start from today's. The first MCQ which you'll be solving today is all of the following are true about idiopathic pulmonary hemosiderosis. Have you heard about pulmonary hemosiderosis? How many of you
Yes,
have heard
sir.
about it?
Yes, sir.
Huh? Alveolar rotina. There is basically in this disease there is a bleeding inside the
Lung.
alveoli. Okay, alveolar hemorrhage. Hemorrhage will be there. This leads to what? Hemosiderin deposition there. Okay, this is the pathology of alveolar pulmonary hemosiderosis. So, what do you expect? DLCO? Old students, you tell me what happens to DLCO here now? Alveolar hemorrhage means
Yes, sir.
increased or decreased?
Normal, normal.
It, DLCO
Increase,
is,
sir. Exceptional.
yeah, it is increased.
Increase.
Exceptional, sir.
Yeah. it increased, similar to good patches. I'll come to that. Why that will come to know now. Because this alveoli, although there is not a good diffusion into the capillaries, but still the DLCO, the test will increase because this alveoli will contain hemoglobin. Okay, this will make this test like something like false positive only. So giving it as DLCO getting increased. So a DLCO is usually what happens in restricted lung diseases? Diffusion. DLCO means diffusion of carbon monoxide. Usually it is decreased in restricted lung diseases, whereas in obstructive lung diseases it is increased except in emphysema. Okay.
Yes,
In
sir.
restricted lung diseases, DLCO is decreased. But with this condition, it is increased. Why? Why? Because there is a hemoglobin inside the alveoli. Okay. Now, so when you look at the term idiopathic, there could be some cause. Anywhere you get the idiopathic term prefixed with any diseases, then you should start imagining there could be some conditions which will manifest with this with the known causes also. That's what it suggests. Okay, many times it will be there. Idiopathic pulmonary hemochromatosis, except. So what do you expect here? The hypoxemia will be there or no?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
This DLCO is a false positive like. So hypoxemia will be there. Okay. Alveolar capillary constriction. Then whenever the injury to the lung, these are type 2 pneumocytes will hyperplasia. That is a reaction always. And hemosiderin, that is second to bleeding inside the alveoli. Hemosiderin will be swallowed by this macrophage. Hemoglobin will be swallowed by this macrophages, and hemosiderin deposition is expected to happen. So in idiopathic pulmonary hemochromatosis, there will be hypoxemia, and this they appear correct. Only this appears incorrect. Okay. In fact, there is a dilatation. Dilatation here. Okay. Alveolar capillary, there will be dilatation here. Let us go in more detail about pulmonary hemochromatosis now. So what is pulmonary hemochromatosis means? Repeated episodes of intra-alveolar bleeding, leading to this hemosiderin deposition in the hemosiderin deposition with the alveolar macrophages, leading to the pulmonary fibrosis, and due to bleeding there will be associated anemia. Okay, that's what it is. Now, this could be primary or secondary. Secondary in the sense I'm talking about secondary systemic diseases, von Willebrand's disease, and heart failure, mitral stenosis. There can be patients can present with hemoptysis. You know the mitral stenosis patients can present hemoptysis.
Yes, sir.
Like that, any bleeding, it could be your tuberculosis and all these things can cause this pulmonary hemochromatosis. So the pulmonary hemochromatosis could be secondary to systemic diseases, infections, many diseases which infect the lung. All of them can cause pulmonary hemochromatosis. However, there are some pulmonary hemochromatosis where the cause is unknown. Okay, those are the things which are more concerned in this discussion. So primary hemochromatosis are three types here again in that. The first one which is of most interesting is Goodpasser syndrome. So Goodpasser syndrome produces nephrotic syndrome. It is actually antibody to basement membrane, basement membrane of lung and kidney. This is the antibody which will in autoimmune disease. The antibodies are produced to the basement membrane. Those patients will produce with pulmonary hemochromatosis and bleeding. And immune complex to the cow's milk. They can also present with hemoptysis and pulmonary hemochromatosis. And of them, the last one is what? Idiopathic. Even here, of the primary, the third one you don't know the cause. Okay. So Later in future, these also may get divided into many conditions. But right now, when these two things are ruled out, the patient fall under this group. That's what it means. Idiopathic pulmonary hemochromatosis. You are getting confused?
No, sir.
No, sir.
Okay.
No, sir. No, sir.
Idiopathic pulmonary hemochromatosis now. So there is, as I said, alveolar hemorrhage will be there, hyperplasia of type 2 pneumocytes will be there. There is dilatation. The choice given was constriction. Okay, so that was the answer there. Hemocytin laden macrophages are there in the alveolar spaces. These macrophages are something like they always come into action whenever there is a problem, immune infection, all that. All the following are associated with the pulmonary eosinophilic pneumonia. There are group of conditions. There will be lungs will have some infiltrates and all that, along with peripheral, what? Eosinophilia. They form a big chunk, something like they are called as hyper-eosinophilic syndromes. They're part of the lung manifestations are the part of hyper-eosinophilic syndrome. Some of them can have lung involvement with peripheral eosinophilia. Many are there.
Sir, you have been muted. Sir, you have been. Yes, sir.
Now, since when,
Yes,
from
yes,
where
sir.
I was muted?
Right from right
This
before you
MCQ
started
only.
writing.
This
Starting point, sir.
okay. Starting means how starting means this MCQ.
Yes, sir.
This MCQ, yes, sir.
Okay, I will discuss this MCQ only from beginning. Fine. So all of the following are associated with the pulmonary eosinophilic pneumonia. Okay. So
Yes, sir.
pulmonary eosinophilic pneumonia means there are some conditions which are associated, something called as hyper
Eosinophil.
eosinophilic syndromes. Okay, these hypereosinophilic syndromes will involve the lung. Of course, they can involve heart, they can involve many more systems of the body. They are sometimes involving the heart also. So those conditions where there is eosinophilia with lung involvement, they form the interest here in this question. Otherwise, okay, otherwise pulmonary infiltrates with eosinophilia, it is called. So it is a sort of a classification we can get into. I'll show that. Okay. Which are the conditions with the pulmonary infiltrates or pneumonia with eosinophilia? So the what is this ABPA means?
Acute bronchopulmonary aspergillosis.
Acute, yeah, acute broncho pulmonary aspergillosis. Fine, that is the ABPA. So this presents most like asthma only. In fact, you are supposed to evaluate for a patient of asthma if he is refractory to your treatment. Okay. ABPA will have, okay, there will be eosinophilia here. Usually asthma will not have this one eosinophilia, whereas asthma with eosinophilia will be there. Yeah, ABPA is one type of it. What is low flux pneumonia? What is low flux pneumonia? What I am writing? Ascaris lumbricoides or roundworm infection. Along with that, all these worms, they, in their life cycle, they go to the lung and come out.
Yes, sir.
So they go to the lung and come out, where they produce this sometimes low flux pneumonia with eosinophilia. Okay, so that also is a type of pulmonary hypereosinophilic syndrome with lung involvement. So this is true. This is true. What is this? Chest stress. It is in fact vasculitis with eosinophilia. Okay. Huh?
Yes.
Vasculitis with eosinophilia. Check stress. These things we'll be discussing in more details. Check stress. These things we'll be discussing connected disorders there also. Now, just remember that check stress will be eosinophilia with vasculitis. Hmm?
Yes, sir.
And what about this tropical pulmonary eosinophilia? I expect you to answer this. Huh? So there will be peripheral eosinophil count more than 3000 with secondary to what it is? What I am writing? Filariasis. Huh?
Yes,
Filariasis with eosinophilia more than 3000 cells per ml. Hmm? There is a tropical pulmonary eosinophilia. So this is about this. So this is true. This is also true. Eosinophilia with lung infection, lung infiltrates. This is also true. This is also true. And this usually doesn't is not associated with eosinophilia. Hmm? Not associated. Vaginous granulomatosis. Okay.
yes, sir.
Now this is the one I have taken it from. See the way they put it here. Pulmonary. Can you see the slide? Most of you will be seeing in a smartphone. That's why pulmonary infiltrates with eosinophilia. This is a table which are taken from Harrison. That's what. Pulmonary infiltrates with eosinophilia. So there can be acute infection, acute eosinophilic pneumonia. Now this text us is here COC. Polyangiitis or vasculitis with eosinophilic granulomatosis, hypereosinophilic syndrome, asthma with so many things, allergic. This one is there. See, huh? Some drugs can also come. Parasitic. This is all. What is this? Loeffler syndrome. Okay. Double O it is. This some dots above. Parasitic. Helminthic infection. And what is this? Non-parasitic infection also can come with. And some malignant diseases, leukemia, lymphoma, lung cancer also can present with pulmonary infiltrates with eosinophilia. Lung adenocarcinoma, squamous cell, rheumatoid arthritis, sarcoidosis, and Sjogren's syndrome. All these things can present with this pulmonary eosinophilia, peripheral eosinophilia with pulmonary infiltrate. Now, I expect you to answer those who have attended yesterday's class. Answer this question now. Lower lobe fibrosis
Yes,
is
sir.
seen in
Sir,
Asbestosis. Asbestosis and silicosis.
silicosis, sir.
Silicosis.
see the silicosis is most like tuberculosis it is.
Asbestosis.
Silicosis is more like tuberculosis. So tuberculosis involves upper lobe. And
Yes.
sarcoidosis also otherwise
Upper.
somewhat it is a differential diagnosis for tuberculosis again. It is clinically it is a differential diagnosis for tuberculosis again. So it is there. What is cystic fibrosis?
Sir, neonatal.
Bronchiectasis will occur. Secondary to thick mucus plug. Okay.
Yes, sir.
I did not make slides for cystic fibrosis. Tomorrow I'll make next class. I will make go detail into the cystic fibrosis. Just remember that it is a case of due to cause upper lobe bronchiectasis. Okay. With the thick mucinous plug occluding the bronchus, and so whenever there is a whatever the mucus that is produced, if it is thick, it will choke the tubes. This is a bronchus. Suppose if it is plugged here, so this will get dilated later on. It will end up with bronchiectasis. Cystic bronchiectasis it is. And what about the asbestosis? What is a major signic one of asbestosis? What I'm
Plaque
writing?
formation.
Pleural. Yesterday
Pleural
only I
plaque.
told you.
Yes, sir.
Pleural plaque. And these patients are prone for malignancy. CA lung as well as mesothelioma. That is both of pleura and peritoneum. Yes, just I was revising yesterday. So lower lobe fibrosis, this is asbestosis. Okay. Now we'll go to a table which shows the fibrosis which lobe. So fibrosis of lower versus upper lobe. Okay. So this is here lower lobe and this is the upper lobe. So the fibrotic disease which was involving the lower lobes. So old granulomatous infection. Hey, this is a reverse, man. Correct,
Sir, reverse, sir. It's wrongly.
Yeah. Typing mistake, Huh? This is upper lobe. This is lower lobe. I'll correct the slide. Okay. This is upper lobe. This is lower lobe now. In upper lobe, the tuberculosis, there, histoplasmosis, there, coccidioidosis, sarcoidosis, silicosis, berylosis, Kohlberg's pneumoconiosis, ankylosing spondylitis. Just remember this: ankylosing spondylitis will cause upper lobe, whereas the rheumatoid, where is this rheumatoid here? Rheumatoid arthritis here. Rheumatoid arthritis will cause lower lobe fibrosis. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Radiation pneumonitis, chronic hypersensitive pneumonitis. These are all will involve the lower lobes. Whereas IPF, yeah, you know IPF classically, it involves lower lobe, honeycomb pattern, patchy behavior. In between the two,
Fibrosis.
there will be normal tissue there. Asbestosis, plaque and all that. Collagen vascular diseases, SLE. Rheumatoid arthritis is lower lobe and ankylosing spondylitis is upper lobe. Drugs can cause. These are drugs. So we say whenever we start the patients on busulfan, where you give busulfan, you people must have not read about this. Leukemia, CLM, CML, we used to give. Now they have changed it to hydroxyurea, I believe. Okay. Methotrexate. These are drugs which can cause fibrosis of the lung. Now, among the airway diseases, upper lobe is what? Cystic fibrosis and ABPA and chronic aspiration. And can also cause lower lobe fibrosis, bronchiectasis of the lower lobes. Okay. So this is
Yes.
you remember this? This is upper lobe. This is lower lobe. Okay. Typing error is there. I will correct it and you rectify in your notes. All of the following constitutes a primary diagnostic criteria for ABPA. What is ABPA? Allergic bronchopulmonary aspergillosis. What is the diagnostic criteria for ABPA now? What all you expect?
Sure, bro.
Which you expect IgE to increase?
Yes, sir.
IgE means allergic.
Yes, sir.
Yes,
IgE
sir.
stands for allergic. IgG stands for old infection. IgM stands for recent
Recent.
infection. These things ghastly, you remember this. Okay. Okay. IgE levels will be more than
Yes, sir.
417 internationals per ml. Peripheral, yeah, this is peripheral eosinophil will be there.
Yes, sir.
Central and bronchial, proximal bronchiectasis will be there. Identification of Aspergillus fumigatus from the sputum. Fumigatus it is. This auto spelling correction, this happen. Huh? Huh? So identification of Aspergillus fumigatus from the sputum. Which of them do you think is a major criteria? Not a major criteria, sorry.
So, identification of fumigators.
Yeah, it is a predominantly an allergic behavior, allergic lung disease. This is not a major criteria. In fact, it is a secondary or a minor criteria. I'll show that. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Allergic bronchopulmonary aspergillosis. Let us go in detail about. So, allergic bronchopulmonary aspergillosis is sometimes around 2%, 2 to 3% of patients of asthma are actually a patients of ABPA, especially if they are not responding to your treatment. They need to be evaluated. So if the patient of asthma is demanding a lot of treatment, is not getting cured easily with your routine treatment of asthma, then you will have to look for this disease. Such for this disease. Cystic fibrosis patient, there are 50% can have ABPA. ABPA, where it occurs is wherever there is a cavity formation. Bronchitis is cavity formation. ABPS, there it is more likely to occur. So cystic bronchosis, cystic fibrosis has got this dilatation of bronchus. So they are prone to develop ABPA because of that. Bronchial obstruction, coughing, fits, because the ABPA, there is bronchoconstriction and sputum is very thick. Fungus sputum is very thick. It will choke the bronchus. So there is bronchial obstruction, and patient can develop a severe coughing. Continuously start coughing because it will be choking there inside. Coughing
Yes,
fits
sir.
can occur because of that. Okay. Look for ABPA in a patient with a refractory asthma. That's what same thing I was telling in the first here. And peripheral eosinophilia more than this with peripheral eosinophilia with serum level more than 417. Central bronchiectasis and patchy infiltration, and treatment is systemic steroids. In asthma, you can get away with what? More often with inhaled steroids.
Yes.
Here you will have to go for systemic steroids. So this is the diagnostic criteria for ABPA. There are again major criteria and minor criteria. At least 6 major criteria are required to diagnose ABPA. So there are 8 major criteria and 3 minor. So these, if you are considering this, the clinical correlation is there. The number of major criteria less, then you will have to clinically correlate with all those criteria taking into consideration. So clinical history suggests of asthma, is a major criteria. Pulmonary inflated rates can be fixed at one place, they can be fleeting. Today it will be seen in one place, tomorrow it will be seen in some other place, like that, fleeting type. Where else you get fleeting type of joint pain?
Sir,
Acute rheumatic fever. Huh?
yes,
Hello?
sir.
There. So
Fleeting
peripheral
and
eosinophilia, more than 500 ml. Tropical pulmonary eosinophilia, how much I said? More than 3000 it is.
yes, sir.
Tropical pulmonary eosinophilia, the eosinophil count has to be more than 3000. Here, more than 500 ml is sufficient. Look at that. Immediate skin reactivity is a major criteria, whereas late skin reactivity to this organism is a minor criteria. Okay, just look at that. Okay, elevated serum IgE, and if you are expressing in international units, is 417. If you are expressing in nanograms, it is 1000. Okay, then autoantibodies, precipitating that is specific autoantibodies, or not at all. Precipitating antibodies IgG type, they are if they are found, it is a major criteria, and specific IgE antibodies is also major criteria. So out of this 8, 6 if they are there, you can think of ABPA. If not, clinical correlation and diagnosis. Aspergillosis, it has got a wide clinical spectrum. It doesn't only cause ABPA. It can even cause, what is this? What does it mean? Extrinsic allergic alveolitis. What is another name for this? Tell na. I'm writing. Hello?
Hypersensitivity.
Yeah. Extrinsic allergic alveolitis also is called as hypersensitive pneumonitis. See, aspergillus. Okay. So the clinical spectrum of presentation are so many. It can just form a fungal ball in a big tuberculous cavity. You can get a fungal ball with a if you take X-ray in different body position, it will be seen in different places in the cavity. Round ball will be there, fungal ball. Okay, and treatment will be surgical removal. Okay, and invasive aspergillosis. There's one more condition here: invasive bronchial aspergillosis, chronic pulmonary aspergillosis, invasive pulmonary aspergillosis. These are the invasive types of aspergillosis, especially immunocompromised it is. Allergic, it is the one which we are discussing was this. It can just present with asthma like, or it can even present with hypersensitivity pneumonitis like picture. Let us come to tropical pulmonary eosinophilia. Huh? So, due to what? Tropical pulmonary eosinophilia?
Filariasis.
Occult filariasis. Okay. This filariasis microfilariae, this manifest of microfilaria, na, they will not be there in the blood. Huh? Remember that. Huh? Microfilaria in a tropical, they will not be there in the blood because in from the bloodstream they are usually washed out and they get deposited in reticular endothelial system and in lung. And they'll do this mischievous business here after getting deposited there. The microfilaria are not found in the blood. Whenever they come, they are washed from the blood. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Usually they don't stay in the lung for a long time. Okay. So there is due to occult filariasis and yes, anything. So something is background. Can you switch off the mic? So eosinophil will count more than 3000 ml. Chest X-ray, CT scan, usually they are normal, but there can be miliary mottling. Miliary mottling in lower lung fields will be there. Bronchovascular markings can be there, these things. And remember this, it is a restrictive pattern. So whenever you get asthma-like picture, now you think people as show obstructive pattern, but this is in tropical pulmonary eosinophilia, you get a restrictive pattern. Remember this, pulmonary function test. So IgE levels are increased here. And what is the DEC means? DEC means what? Which drug? Diethyl carbamazepine.
Yes, sir.
Brand name Hetrazan. It's an old brand name. So diethyl carbamazepine is the drug of choice. You have to give it around 14 to 3. Some people we give it up to 21 days. Okay, 14, and the dose is 4 to 6 per kg body weight. And even after treatment, around 15% of the patient they can relapse. Tropical pulmonary eosinophilia. So let us go to Loeffler syndrome. Loeffler syndrome, it was initially described to with roundworms. What is the scientific name for roundworms? Ascaris
Sir, yes, sir.
lumbricoides. Yeah, it was described with in connection to roundworms. So we'll study a little bit about life cycle here. Person ingests the roundworm larvae. It will go into the stomach, and when they'll go to intestine here, they go to the venules. From the venules in circulation, they will reach the lung. Inside the lung, where they get matured and they get coughed back. They climb and coughed back and into the stomach. They'll come here, and from the stomach to the intestine, they again there to the feces. They are put in the external world, and the life cycle continues. So during this lung phase, this Loeffler syndrome can occur. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Of course, there are other types of parasites like Ankylostomia duodenale, Nectera americana. So many are there. They enter the body not through mouth, of course, through the skin, and they do also have a lung cycle. In the life cycle, the lung involvement will be there. During that time, this Loeffler syndrome can be there. Okay. Loeffler syndrome, fever, malaise, cough, wheezing, dyspnea, malaise, myalgia, anorexia. These are the common symptoms they present with. Okay. Usually, if you expect to children to suffer from this, it can involve any age, but children are more likely to suffer because parasitic infections are more common in the children. So that's about the parasites causing Loeffler syndrome. Now, what are the other parasites which can cause pulmonary eosinophilia? Local, you cannot classically call them as Loeffler syndrome because it was described with Ascaris, but these things also can clinically present similar to them. See, Ascaris lumbricoides just now. Ascaris, Nectar americans, I just not told you. All these parasites, almost all of them can produce pulmonary eosinophilia. And there are drugs, dapsone, ethambutol, ethambutol, isozanazid. These are the drugs of anti-ETT, anti-tubercular drugs, and this is nitrofurantoin, one important, very commonly seen, nitrofurantoin, penicillins, tetracyclines. You people have not have. Now your doxycycline is there, anyway. Tetracycline, clarithromycin, sulfonamides, pyrimethamine, so anticonvulsant, carbamazepine, phenytoin, all these drugs. This list, aspirin also can present with pulmonary eosinophilia. And these are drugs. Captopril. What is captopril? Where you use captopril? Captopril where you use?
FC inhibitor, sir.
ACE? Yeah. It is a ACE inhibitor used for what? Hypertension and also heart failure. You can use also. All ACE inhibitors. Okay. These are all the agents which can cause pulmonary infiltration with eosinophilia. They can cause. Okay, now we'll come to this question. If 40-year-old man presented with repeated episodes of bronchospasm. Okay, he presented with repeated episodes of bronchospasm, and there was hemoptysis. There was hemoptysis, and chest X-ray revealed perihilar bronchiectasis. So where you get perihilar bronchiectasis? And the most likely diagnosis is in sarcoidosis. What do you get perihilar? Bronchiectasis. Sorry, sarcoidosis. Egg. Shell yesterday. That is lymph node calcification. Eggshell. Okay. It is not bronchiectasis, perihilar. Okay. Idiopathic pulmonary fibrosis, it is bacillar involvement. Not perihilar. Okay. Extrinsic allergic alveolitis is what is this? It is a group of hypersensitive pneumonitis only. Whole thing is coming here. Usually they don't cause this perihilar bronchiectasis. Okay. So bronchopulmonary aspergillosis. Yeah. Patients, they come with hemoptysis and perihilar
bronchiectasis.
Yeah. Central or perihilar bronchiectasis. It is ABPA. Otherwise it is. Okay.
Yes, sir.
All of the following are the features of tropical pulmonary eosinophilia. I discussed them just now. I expect you to answer.
Second one,
so
sir.
eosinophil, I said it should be more than 3,000. Yeah, it should be.
Yes,
Please accept answer. So microfilaria, I told it will get cleared from the blood.
Yes, sir.
So this is not the one. Microfilaria in the blood is not the one. Paroxysmal cough and wheeze. Yeah. Bilateral chest mottling. Bronchovascular markings. Yeah. All things are true, and this is the exception. This is the answer.
Okay.
All of the following are associated with the peripheral blood eosinophilia, except where you don't expect eosinophilia.
Third one, sir.
Yeah, although name is pulmonary eosinophilic granuloma, you don't get peripheral eosinophilia. This is vasculitis with eosinophilia syndrome. Yeah, you know that it is a parasitic infection causing aspergillosis. It's there. Except this is the answer. Okay. Tropical pulmonary eosinophilia is caused because of tropical
occult filuria.
Yeah, correct. Very good. And 54-year-old smoker man comes with severe hemoptysis. He has come with severe hemoptysis and has got a weight loss and oligoarthritis. Serial Seagram shows fleeting opacities. Where you get fleeting opacities? ABPA.
ABPA, sir.
ABPA.
Yeah. What is the diagnosis?
ABPA.
But what about oligoarthritis? So oligoarthritis you get classically here. This will be the better answer. Vaginous granulomatosis. I did not make slides on vaginous granulomatosis. So my job is to cover cystic fibrosis. Okay, and this and also sex stress. Probably next class I will try to cover them and finish it off. Okay. So vaginous granulomatosis is the answer here. Now, hypersensitive pneumonitis is classically described as A. What is the other name for hypersensitive pneumonitis? Hypersensitivity. Sorry, it should be actually
Allergic.
hypersensitivity. Extrinsic allergic alveolitis.
Pneumonitis.
What sort of immunoreaction you get? There are type 1. It is actually, this is the best answer.
Type 3.
Of course, this is also there.
Type
The
3
best
also,
answer
sir.
is this. The best answer is this actually, because almost all of them will have this immune complex disease, whereas cell mediated only around 2/3. So this is almost all. So this is a better answer. So type 3 immune complex it is. So that's all for today. So if you got any doubts, you can ask now.
Mhm.
You have any doubts?
No, sir.
No, sir.
So madam will be taking on primary health care tomorrow. Madam will be taking primary health care tomorrow.
Yes, sir.
Okay. We'll upload the MCQs tonight. Then you read and come. It will be much more easy. And those pending things, sex stress, vaginous granulomatosis, and cystic fibrosis, I will take in the next class. Okay.
Sir,
Right.
another, sir, like ARDS, pulmonary embolism, and sir, pneumonia chapter.
Yeah. Pulmonary embolism, pneumothorax. I'll cover them. I'm not
Yes, sir.
finishing RS now. Okay. Many
Okay,
are there, I know. Yeah, tuberculosis is there, pneumonia is there, thromboembolism is there. So many are there. Fine.
okay, sir.
I am talking about what is connected to today's topic. These diseases I would have covered. I am
Okay,
just
sir.
memorizing so that I should not forget next. Okay. In case if I forget now, you make me tell you. Fine.
Okay,
Okay. Everything
okay,
will be
sir.
covered. Okay.